Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's worth. Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network. Y'all see what we got going on here. As y'all see the thumbnail, y'all read the title under the thumbnail. Yeah, man, today's video is dealing with Offset. And your boy Offset, he got an issue with CEO Pierre and Coach K for how they was placing Quavo over the whole group, even before TakeOff passing, man. See, that's something that Offset had recognized a long time ago. That's the reason why he was distant from the rest of the group, because he seen how CEO Pierre and Coach K was getting Quavo passes to these events that Offset and TakeOff wasn't allowed to go to. That don't even make sense, because Offset is speaking from the fact that, hey man, who want to see Quavo by himself rather than the whole group together? And that's the truth. So again, once Offset started to see what QC was doing with Quavo, that's when he said, alright, I see what's going on here. I finna do my own thing. And one of the things that Offset did was made sure that he got his solo catalog back from QC. And yeah, everybody know, with the help from his wife and her team, Offset has now all the rights to his solo catalog. So again, going back, the reason why Offset has an issue, because he knew based on the contract that they signed that Quavo was not the lead over the group, but they all got an even split. So that's the reason why, even with TakeOff not being here, the contracts, they got to be reconstructed, because you signed as a group. So when you go to these events, people want to see you as a group. That's the only way you can get paid the whole bag. And that's if everybody is present. I'm trying to tell y'all, that's the whole reason why they had Quavo bring TakeOff chain on stage and put it on that mic, because they trying to show y'all in spiritual form that TakeOff was still here on that stage. So again, when Offset is seeing Quavo at these celebrity events or these red carpet events, y'all gotta understand where he coming from. He like, hey man, why y'all letting Quavo get all the promotion for himself? What's going on here? What y'all setting up in the end? So you even have some folks who feel that's the reason why TakeOff was set up, was to make a way for Quavo. Hey, I don't know if that's the truth. I'm just saying. So that's why at first, again, a lot of people thought that the Migos split was dealing with the moves that Offset was making, not understanding that no, it was QC. QC was already making a way for Quavo to be a solo artist. I'm telling y'all, man, if y'all go back, the whole time that Quavo was with Sweetie, that's the only thing that people were speaking on. They wasn't speaking on the Migos as a group. And like I stated, man, we all know that Offset, he's not gonna hold his tongue. If it's something on his heart, he gonna let it off. Some people might not agree the way he does it, but hey, he gonna speak his truth. And the truth is, he could see what's going on. He recognized that even before TakeOff passing. Before we get into it, as always, let's first pay our respects and say rest in peace to TakeOff, condolences to his family, and much love to all my folks in the ATL. See, I told y'all, man, Offset, he's still heated based on what happened with TakeOff. He's heated towards J.Prince Jr. MobTies and Quavo. Yes, he's pressing J.Prince Jr. MobTies because he feel like should nobody at that function had no blicky in there in the first place. And dealing with Quavo, he knew that TakeOff had been telling Quavo it was time to go. So that's the reason why Quavo and Offset had their little situation. And I'm not talking about at the Grammys. This was before the Grammys. Because again, y'all got to understand how Offset was feeling and the rest of the family. So one minute, Quavo, you out here making moves like you a solo act. And the next minute, your nephew gets sent up. Come on, man. And like I said it before, and a lot of folks know that Offset and TakeOff, they wasn't being seen around J.Prince Jr. MobTies like Quavo was. Could that be the reason why Quavo is siding with them? Because of J.Prince Jr. brother Jazz, Quavo was always around those guys. But again, not TakeOff and Offset. TakeOff, he was always with his family. Same thing with Offset. Now that he got a wife, he got kids, he understands that he got more responsibilities to handle. So that's the reason why he's approaching Coach K and CEO Pierre to let them know, hey man, why me and TakeOff, we didn't get an invite to that function? We already know when Quavo put up to that function, he gonna get a bag. He gonna get a bag, or he gonna get free promotion and free publicity. Because y'all know in that time, Quavo and Sweetie, they was putting out a few products. That's the reason why Offset is like, hey, we all signed a contract at the same time. So we all supposed to get equal treatment, especially if you are management. And that's real talk. So Offset, he had the right mentality. Matter of fact, Offset, he had the Ice Cube mentality. He say, hey man, I don't like what's going on with this group. I don't like how they trying to place Quavo over the rest of the group because it's not that. He didn't come in by himself. He didn't come in as a solo act and then we signed on later. No, man, we all signed at the same time. Even before we changed our name to the Migos when we was the Polo Boys. So everything Offset is saying is the truth. And he has a right to stand on that. But I just want to let the people know that, no, man, it was not mostly Offset that had anything to do with the Migos split. QC already had that in their plans. They already had that in their schedule. But it's just funny how the person who speaks up, who could see all the BS going on, is the one that the people want to point at as being the one that's creating problems. When that's not the case at all. Offset is just speaking on what he know he sees. And there's nobody who could tell him otherwise. And I see it as well, man. Again, I seen it 2 or 3 years ago when Quavo got with Sweetie. It's almost like in that time, they was pushing Quavo to be that solo artist. But then they didn't know that Sweetie was going to end up smashing Offset and mess up their whole plans. Come on, man. I'm trying to tell y'all something here. And y'all seen how Cardi B played it. She wasn't going to let Sweetie break up her home. And that's the reason why Offset is off to do his own thing with his wife Cardi B and their own team. They about to create their own label and sign their own artists, man. They tired of going through the back and forth with QC over small BS. And that's real. Yeah, folks. If that was CEO Pierre and Coach K played from the beginning, which was to place Quavo over the whole group, that's bogus, man. Because those guys, they didn't have a mentality towards one another. See, what this does is it draws a wedge between the group. Because check this out. Nobody came in the game with the mentality of big I's or little U's. They was moving together as a unit, as a whole. Feel what I'm saying? They always split everything down the middle. And that's even when Offset was locked up. Because they always been loyal to one another. Until some outside parties get in their ear. Then what happened is, you have this one person who say, hey man, I see more in you. You can do bigger and better by yourself. You don't need those guys. This is something that happens all the time in every group. We can go back to SWV. We can go back to any group out there, male or female. It don't matter. There was somebody always in the background saying, hey, you can do better as a solo act. And then what happens is they end up messing up that person's career. Yeah, you will have your few instances to where somebody will luck up of coming out a group and doing it on their own. But most of the time, that's not the case, man. Understand where I'm coming from. Back in the day, there used to be 4 or 5 people in the group. But when that group split and they all go solo, it's a good chance only one person out of the whole group is going to really blow up. So I'm saying all that to say this. They shouldn't even put that in Quavo's head, man. And that's the reason why Quavo's sister, whom is TakeOff mother, even knows that Quavo been acting real funny lately. Don't split up the group. If they want to do solo albums on their own, that's all cool. But don't do that based on you ignoring their morals and principles that they have for one another, man. Now they looking at one another sideways. Cause you got guys feeling like, oh, we not good enough to be as a group with you no more. That's what it is. You want to go solo? That's why it was mostly Offset who was pushing it. Y'all know that TakeOff, that's Quavo's nephew. So it's not too much TakeOff gonna say to his Uncle Quavo. But Offset? No, man, you know Offset, he gonna step up to Quavo face to face. Hey, my G, what's going on here? Y'all know Quavo, hey, man, you gotta go talk to CEO Pierre about that. And Offset like, nah, man, I'm talking to you, my brother, my family. What's going on here? If you want to split and do your own thing, that's cool. We ask that you just keep us on board. We don't want to know everything you're doing, but just let us be aware. It ain't no grudges being held. But if you trying to make it seem like you bigger than the group and you don't need us no more and you can do better by yourself, nah, man, we not doing that, brother. Because we don't have to put down one another if we want to take a different route. So that's the reason why folks have to watch the people around them, man. Because, yeah, even though CEO Pierre and Coach K helped make them the bag, they also assisted in they split up. I'm just telling y'all how it is, man. And y'all have to understand this happens all the time. A lot of the times, the reason why they split, because it was always somebody in their ear telling them what they should do with their career. Like I say, always be aware and always stay prepared. But hey, we got more in store. As always, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's worth. Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network.